Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Sean Huggins and this is Europe with Hugs. Thank you so much for being here. I am an American looking to learn more about life in Europe through watching silly videos and stuff on the internet with you guys. And today I have a fun video planned. Check this out. How just living in Europe made me healthy. Oh baby. This is from Dave in Portugal. I wonder where he moved into Europe. Maybe we'll find out in the video. But as always, if you enjoy, please consider subscribing. It's quick, easy, free, helps out the channel a lot, and it'd be greatly appreciated. But that being said, let's find out how living in Europe made me healthy.
Did just living in Europe help me get into better shape? The results may surprise you. I'm not proud to show this photo, but like many Americans during the pandemic, I ate all of my favorite comfort foods and enjoyed many nooner beers, which means having a beer at noon. So about 8 months ago, I made a video about how on average, Americans are much more obese than Europeans. And I vowed in that video to eat a primarily healthy vegan diet, quit drinking beer, and exercise as much as I could. And then I would show you guys the results in 6 months. But I have to be honest, when I arrived to Europe, I didn't stick to any of these things. I drank copious amounts of wine and beer and ate all of the delicacies in the different countries that I had visited. I wasn't just gonna pass up on the pain au chocolat in Paris or the duck and dumplings in Prague. What are you, crazy? I mean, could you blame me? In Europe, 15% of Europeans are obese, whereas in the United States, 36% of Americans are obese. That is a massive number difference.
Almost twice as
much.
Is it
because the food in Europe is much more high quality and doesn't have things like additive fillers, GMOs, and chemicals? Is it contributed to the amount of coffee and cigarettes Europeans consume? Is it attributed to the amount of walking that Europeans do that Americans don't? Turns out it's a combination of all of these. The United States food industry is more about quantity than quality. They add many preservatives and fillers to make it cheaper and last longer. I had a friend from the United States that had Crohn's disease, and when he ate bread in the United States, he had massive medical issues. But when he came to Europe, he could eat as much gluten and bread as he wanted to.
So he knew that bread gave him massive medical issues, and he just kept eating it? That doesn't make any sense. How does he know that eating bread in Europe doesn't cause any health issues? Why would you eat bread if you think that bread causes major health issues? That seems weird to me, but okay. Anyways,
what's the deal with that? The fact that there are massive aisles of cereals that are just made up of corn and sugar absolutely baffles me. There was a point in time where the marketing in the United States said that cereals were a healthy breakfast. Now, in more recent times, you've had these organic grocery stores showing up all over the United States. But it costs a premium to shop at places like Whole Foods or Erewhon, and you pretty much have to be rich to be super healthy in the United States. Whereas Europe has been doing this kind of food forever. And even Mexico.
I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I understand the sentiment.
Has been doing farm to table forever. And I also think it is the culture as well, where people in the United States choose the easier, faster option. It's such a fast-paced life in the United States that sometimes it's easier just to go through a drive-through. Now,
I think that's the real difference. Like, we have all the options in America. We have all the healthy food options. You can get it pretty affordably if you know how to do it. And we also have all of, obviously, the not healthy options, and it's kind of just up to you to make the right choices. And most of the time people don't make the right choices because getting the healthy food is just a little bit extra work, and people like convenience in America, so they'd rather go to the grocery store and buy a week's worth of groceries that'll last the whole week or a whole month, and then you're good. But then that stuff is generally more processed, more unhealthy, but that's the choice that you make. You know what I mean? So it's not like we don't have healthy options. It's just that it's just the culture to not care about them and go more for the convenience of the unhealthy options more so than anything else. I feel like.
There are fast food drive-thrus in Europe, but most people choose different, healthier options and eat fast food in moderation. And the fast food in Europe is much smaller portioned than the ones in the United States. But there's no doubt that when I'm in Europe, I walk so much more than I do in the United States. And I think this is by design. During the automotive boom in the early 20th century, many deals were done to invest heavily into highways instead of trains. And that's how America became such a car-centric culture. And I do think this contributes to Europeans walking a lot more on average than Americans. So after living in Europe for a little over a year, how did it affect me personally? Now, it's important to highlight that I live in Southern Europe, Portugal to be exact. It is very sunny here and easy to get outside and easy to take walks and hikes and bike rides and go surfing than it is in some other European countries. And for some magical reason, I have no idea how, my body has gone through a transformation. Without really keeping track of my weight or really paying any attention, one day I decided to take a photo in a dressing room and see how it compared with an earlier photo of me. And the results were shocking.
Oh, before and after. Yeah, it looks like he's in a lot better shape for sure. Definitely lost a lot of weight, or at least transformed his body, and also got a tan. Guy got a tan and also some spectacles. Got a tan and some spectacles and looks good. Good for him.
And what was most interesting is when I went to the doctor. Now, before I had left the United States, I had taken a blood test that showed that my cholesterol levels were elevated. But fast forward 8 months into living in Europe, and I took another blood test, and my cholesterols had lowered. And not even lowered to normal, but lowered to optimal. So what was it exactly that made me so much more healthy? Was it the real food that didn't contain all of these additives, GMOs, and chemicals? Was it that I was living a less stressful life and living in a more slow-paced environment where my cortisol levels weren't so high? Was it that I was walking and moving a lot more than I was in the United States? It could be all of these factors, but one thing I do know for sure is I'm not mad about it. Now, I'm not claiming that if you move to Europe, you will magically lose all of this weight and be super healthy. But for some strange reason, this has been the case for me. And I kind of don't even know how it happened. But if you want to see more content about living in Europe and Portugal specifically, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button.
Cool. Very fun video today. Yeah, I think that some of the points he's making are a little misleading, I guess, but I definitely agree with the overall sentiment. It's just definitely a more healthy and more active society in general in Europe, and that is very appealing to me. A lot of Americans really desire the convenience over actually going a little bit out of their way to eat healthy or a little bit out of their way to be active consistently. But yeah, it's a big problem. I think that it just comes down to money. Like, I think the big corporations just want to take all of our money and leave us unhealthy and uneducated and poor and take all of our money and just keep us that way. I think that's what it comes down to. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.